what to make next.
You asking me? What are your ideas?
I did so many theories right now. It's just trying to figure it out. I know. I do another Wimpy Kid theory. I made the Rowley's. I diagnosed Rowley of being the actual Wimpy Kid. And I diagnosed the people. I proven wrong the people who diagnosed Roderick of being a bad person. And I diagnosed Greg of being a simp. But I'm probably going to do another video on him of being a sociopath. Now that I have full definition of what a simp is, I would probably remake that video. But I just don't think I have the courage to remake a video that I already did. Anyway, this time around, I'm going to be doing a more background character.
Howdy.
Well, appears in Third Wheel and Hard Luck. If you can't guess who it is, there's more than one antagonist in Hard Luck. You may think Greg is overreacting about this character, but he isn't. Today I'm going to be diagnosing Abigail Brown. I really wish I made this video instead of the Rowley video, because why diagnose Rowley when he's the one being manipulated by Abigail?
Which one is that? His girlfriend?
Yeah, but they broke up.
Oh yeah.
Very cold. Even Greg has to admit that he's sorry, but he says he doesn't have enough time feeling sorry for Rowley because he has problems of his own. I mean, even though he does admit that he feels bad, he still doesn't care enough to actually say it to him. Anyway, let's start.
Do this.
The Third Wheel, she isn't really that much of a bad guy. She's just a girl that wants a date to the dance. And the way I saw it, at the end of the book, Greg overreacted because he thought that she had chicken pox and was just a pimple on her chin. I mean, why? How can you? I mean, that is just ridiculous. Anyway, I can see why she thought that. So she took Rowley instead. And this affects his everyday life and Hard Luck. But Greg was being a horrible person in this. Abigail is also being a horrible person. You may not agree with me, but I have other perspectives to take on. There are certain things I need to say. Before I get to this theory, I'm going to do some honorable mention for characters. Frank Heffley. I was going to do a video, which I would probably do on, of Frank Heffley, Greg's dad, of being a terrible father and not really caring about his family and only caring about his Civil War battlefield. I mean, he literally ambushes teenagers. I mean, that guy, he acts like he hates teenagers. And they do nothing wrong. Teenagers are teenagers. They do nothing wrong. Well, some people may, like little siblings, may see their older things in bad lights, like Greg does with Roderick. But there's more to that. Susan Heffley. I was going to make one on Susan Heffley for being a terrible mother and constantly spoiling Manny. Speaking of Manny, I was also going to do a video on Manny, but I decided not to because there's already pretty big videos of why Manny is a devil. He's not. Well, I mean, compared to Greg, many people see him in a bad light, but in my eyes, compared to Greg, he's a saint. And that's what most people see him as. I mean, I watched Good to Evil, and he was like second purist. Rowley was first. Mm-hmm. And they only put him there because he was a little kid and didn't really have that much. But he has a bad heart. Now, for the final entry of Hood Honorable Mention, I would have done... this may surprise you. I would have done Uncle Gary for be constantly cheating on people, since Greg says it was about his fifth wedding in fourth wedding, which means he's married to 3 other people. So for being a big cheater to his girlfriends, I mean, people divorce all the time, but he's divorced like 3 times. Dude's not finding the perfect girl.
Well, that's for sure.
Anyway, so those were all the honorable mentions. So let's kick off on some actual information. Taking advantage. Unlike most girlfriends, she takes advantage of Rowley. You may be saying, well, Greg also takes advantage of Rowley. But she really is trying to try to drive a wedge between the two.
Why is she doing that?
That's Greg even states that, but he doesn't really say why. He just
She wants to Rowley spend all her time with her, not with him.
And I really shouldn't have diagnosed Rowley for going along with her. I really regret diagnosing like the most purest soul. Even though I may be overlooking this, what I'm saying, I'm not saying Rowley's a perfect person. I mean, he does have some flaws, including listening to this idiot. But there's also the fact that Rowley bought her a cupcake for dating her, like, not for, like, what, 9 days? Oh my god. And basically, that just... Anyway, Greg even alludes to, I just don't get how you can be someone's best friend and being kicked at a curb, but that's exactly what happened. Well, that's not really... I guess that's sometimes that happens. But I only diagnosed Rowley because he just could have spent time with both of them. But of course, Abigail didn't want that to happen, and Abigail took more advantage. See, Greg took advantage of Rowley until hard luck. Rowley had his own opinions.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot to say he didn't. Well, according to Greg, he didn't. And honestly, I can literally state, quote, it's like Rowley doesn't have his own opinions anymore. Like, he's like, okay, you asked her one, what do you think of a movie? He's like, oh yeah, we didn't care for that one. Next up, concerns of food that may be disgusting to you, but other people are eating it, not yourself, so this is really disgusting. 5-second rule is really a rule at the table that we haven't really heard about until hard luck. Basically, if something, when someone drops something, you can eat it, but then somebody else starts eating people. I mean, look at this. This guy's stealing off Greg's lunch money, but since he's a sociopath, it doesn't really matter. Look. She just seems to be really concerned, even though it's not really anyone. She doesn't really seem to care. Anyway, she doesn't really seem... She's just eating her lunch, and then boom. But then I bet she had enough. And took Rowley with her to the couples table, which just barely had any space. Barely had any space. Anyway. Anyway, it's really more to talk about. Abigail will be coming up. But I've been discussing things, and I think it'd be okay for me to discuss it eventually. But I'm still thinking about what we can discuss about the rest of the theory. We can discuss about it. So, yeah. So, we'll do it soon. So, let me think. Whoa. Oh, crap. Okay. So, we're going to discuss this one. So, basically... Oh, yeah, I forgot to say the entry name. Sorry about that. Making others suffocate to the fact that they stole your friendship.
Yeah.
Basically, this is just one simple move by Abigail that she took Rowley away from Greg, and honestly, you made her take all these pictures of them just to rub it in his face that Rowley clearly cared about or more. I mean, honestly, if I was Rowley, I probably would too, considering what Greg has done to Rowley. But still, this still doesn't seem right, considering that Abigail just basically used Rowley.
Yeah.
She's basically being Greg, but worse.
That's a really good point.
She's taking on the role of the main character and just trying to take advantage of his own best friend. And look. Cutest couple. Rowley Jefferson and ex and look. That's
you don't think she was just doing those pictures to like have funny pictures of Rowley? You think she was really hoping to make Greg feel uncomfortable or feel...
Okay. So the last entry on this list is just to make him suffocate in the next. Well, I didn't see this coming. 1 week after Rowley and Abigail got voted cutest couple, word is that they're through. And would you look at that? She's back with her old boyfriend.
What the?
Oh my god.
Oh goodness. She didn't even tell him what it looks like.
At least the picture makes it look that way. He just shows up at the lunch table and they're doing the Lady and the Tramp thing.
We just said you're fine, but you're not really fine. So, in conclusion, basically the whole thing is that Abigail is Greg, but worse. Also, the honorable mentions will be future theories, and I'm gonna do it one of the other ones today.
I was thinking, yeah, your last point makes it really seem like she was just kind of using Rowley to waste time so she got back with her boyfriend and make Greg feel bad and stuff.
And
Well,
make
anyway.
Rowley feel bad.
I agree with
Who
you.
was her boy?
Yeah, well, that's the most, yeah. Dang.
Anyway.
We'll go on with your other announcements.
So you will be seeing videos on Frank, Susan, Manny, and Uncle Gary soon in production. I might also do an Uncle Joe or one of the teachers maybe. But there's not really many flaws with them as you may think, but I would cover them. Same with Uncle Gary, but I already told you why. So, but after that, after the honorable mentions and the ones I just mentioned, I'm not really sure what to Wimpy Kid. But some characters are just messed up in the head, and Abigail is one of them. She basically takes on the role of Greg, but even worse. And this is coming from my mouth, and honestly, I can see why Greg was so bad. Greg is not a great person. He's like probably one of the worst people in this series. Probably like a second worst person. But Abigail basically takes on the role of Greg, but worse. Both manipulate Rowley, but at least Greg actually doesn't. Basically, in conclusion, Abigail is Greg, but worse. She basically gimmicks everything he done, but then makes up her own role and try to make him suffocate, and then later on tries to make Rowley suffocate. Anyway, this is all for the theory, and bye.